I've been a bridge for everyone to healing in my career, but I didn't know how to receive that. We have disconnection from our body where we're floating heads of competence. We have all sorts of good knowledge, but it's up here. We don't feel it. And I do a lot of chakra work. I'm also a yoga instructor with my patients. So I just think it's very important to get embodied and feel what we need to feel. Just the simple act of putting your hand over your heart 3 times a day and saying, what am I actually feeling? It's very powerful for us in the helping profession.
This episode is sponsored by TherapyNotes, TherapyNotes.com. Be sure and check them out and be sure and use the promo code Gordon, Gordon, and you can try them out for 2 months for free. For the past 20 plus years, I've been working in the mental health field as a licensed therapist, private practice owner, coach, and consultant. And I've learned a lot the hard way, and I don't think you need to do the same. Hi there, I'm Gordon Brewer, and welcome to the Practice of Therapy podcast, part of the Psychcraft network of podcasts. Whether you're just starting out, expanding your practice, or looking for fresh inspiration, this podcast is here to support you in your journey. Each week, we explore the real-world challenges and opportunities that come with building and growing your private practice. From marketing and money management to ethics, client care, and self-care, we cover it all. You'll hear from leading experts, seasoned clinicians, and innovative voices in the mental health and allied health fields, all sharing their insights and strategies to help you thrive in your practice. So let's jump in and get to today's episode of the Practice of Therapy podcast. Hello, everyone. This is Gordon Brewer, and this is episode number 416 of the Practice of Therapy podcast. So glad you've joined us, and hope your start to the new year is going well. And I'm really looking forward to you hearing from this particular guest in this episode, Dr. Julie Merriman, because we talk about a topic that I think is so important for all of us in the helping professions, particularly as mental health providers, just the importance of self-care and also some ways in which you can avoid burnout and compassion fatigue. I know a lot of us, in this particular field, we get to hear from people every single day that we're working, just a lot of heavy stuff. And it really can take a toll on us. And also just the fact that we have our own lives and our own things and stuff that comes up for us in just our own relationships and our own families and just in our own community that affect us all. And so we talk about some of the ways in which we can help ourselves better around these particular issues, and also just how it ties into the business side of running your private practice. So I'm looking forward to you hearing my conversation with Julie. And it's a great one. So, but before we get to that, one of the things that I would invite you to do is go over to my website, practiceoftherapy.com. And if you are interested in working with me this next year or this year, I'd love to hear from you. One of the things that I'm focusing on this year is just taking on more individual consulting clients. And so if you're interested in working with me, I'd love to have a conversation with you about that. And you can just simply go to practiceoftherapy.com and just click on the link there at the top of the page that says coaching and consulting, and we can start that process. So be sure and check it out. And also, before we get to my conversation with Julie, love for you to hear from a word or two from our sponsor, TherapyNotes, along with one of the members of the Psychcraft network.
Hi, I'm Whitney Owens. If you don't know me, I am the person behind the Wise Practice podcast, which is part of the Psychcraft network of podcasts. I am so proud to be a part of this network, along with my good friend Gordon Brewer, who's doing such amazing work on helping people on their practice journey. If you haven't discovered the Wise Practice podcast yet, you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'd love for you to join us as we explore how to grow a faith-based practice that brings you the income you need and the lifestyle you want. Be sure to check out the podcast and other helpful information at whitneyowens.com.
Hi, this is Rachel, Gordon's podcast assistant, and I want to share the platform Gordon trusts for his own practice, TherapyNotes. TherapyNotes is the highest-rated EHR, practice management, and billing software for mental health professionals. It's an all-in-one system for scheduling, notes, billing, and secure client communication. And if you ever need help, their 24/7 customer service is always just a call or email away. Their latest update, Therapy Fuel, uses AI to streamline documentation, generating progress notes, creating contact notes from client messages, and even summarizing client history forms, saving therapists hours every week. Are you ready to give it a try? Head to therapynotes.com, click Start My Free Trial, and use the code GORDON to get your first 2 months free. See why TherapyNotes is the most trusted EHR and the one Gordon chooses for his practice. Please enjoy the rest of the show.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome again to the podcast. And I'm really excited for you to get to know today Dr. Julie Merriman. Welcome, Julie. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with you.
Yes, and some people might know Julie from, she's got a YouTube channel, and we'll talk about all of the different in her books and things that she's done. But Julie, as I start with everyone, tell folks a little bit more about yourself and how you've landed where you've landed.
Yeah, there's no straight path. My daddy always told me I did everything the hard way. So I'm a professor and been a counselor for 30 years. And it's just always been on my heart to help others. And through this, as I was working with my interns and my students, I discovered that they'd come in just real perky, like, whoo, gonna tackle the world. And for some reason, I never knew why until I started researching it. About 6 weeks in, they'd just be dragging their legs across the floor like Igors. People going, what's happening with y'all? And that is what piqued my interest to start researching burnout and compassion fatigue, specifically in our profession, the helping professions.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and through that, I mean, I still have a private practice, but I tend to be a therapist for other therapists, working with helping us stay in the profession, right? And having a quality of life in the profession. So I guess that's the short story there.
Right. And I know as we were chatting before we started recording, I know one of the things that you are a big proponent of is that, and this really resonated for me. I think it's very easy for us to get disconnected from ourselves. And so you want to say more about that and just how you kind of landed on that.
Absolutely. And well, it was through my research when I discovered that we don't often know how to receive. And then my own story, when I went through breast cancer last year and I had sweet friends bringing food to the house and I would, we have this helper default. Oh, I'm fine. Really. I don't need anything. And I had one girlfriend look me in the eyes and go, Julie, would you just let me love you for 5 minutes? And it struck me in that moment. I've been a bridge for everyone to healing in my career, but I didn't know how to receive that,
right.
Which really led me to research a little bit more. And there's really 3 disconnections, if you will. We have disconnection from our body, where we're floating heads of competence. We have all sorts of good knowledge, but it's up here. We don't feel it. And I do a lot of chakra work. I'm also a yoga instructor with my patients. So I just think it's very important to get embodied and feel what we need to feel. What's that old cliche? You got to feel it to heal it. You got to
right.
it.
Yeah.
So, just the simple act of putting your hand over your heart 3 times a day and saying, what am I actually feeling? It's very powerful for us in the helping profession. And then there's a disconnection from reciprocal relationships. I mentioned our relationships are often one-way streets. Everyone leans on us. But when it's our turn, we kick to that default. Oh, I'm fine. I don't need anything. And I just don't know when needing become such a sense of failure for us as helpers. So a reconnection there is, just start with a whisper. Could you sit with me for 5 minutes? I just need to fall apart without being fixed. Don't we want to fix? Yeah.
Right. Right.
And then the last disconnection that really resonates is that disconnection from purpose beyond performance. So much of what we do as helpers is based on performance. And I mean, our worth even becomes connected to that performance piece, which makes that sacred why disappear. And that's where we lose people, Gordon, in this profession.
Right.
So really doing some work, and the holidays are coming. I mean, it's a good time to take a few minutes and reassess where we are. Anytime is a good time, but to really reconnect with that sacred why of why we decided to want to help people. When we become disconnected from that purpose, things kind of feel flat. I tell you what, it leads to burnout, compassion fatigue. I'm just
right.
convinced it does.
Yeah. It's interesting because as you're speaking about all of this, one of the things that I've really enjoyed delving deeper into over the last several years is, and you're probably familiar with it, is the Enneagram. And one of the things that I think a lot of us in our profession probably fall in the category of an Enneagram 2, which is the helper. And I know that that's where I am as well. And one of the big faults of 2s is that we get so much of our self-worth from helping. Now, that's a great thing to aspire to, and it's, it resonates with us. But like you said, the problem becomes is, like you said, it's a one-way street, and that we're so focused on helping others, we really lose touch with what we actually need and want for ourselves. And I know that's been a big journey for me in my own therapy and my own work, is just really recognizing, what is it that I need? What is it that I want? And then knowing how to receive that and ask for it and recognize it. I didn't share this with you, Julie, but I know a lot of people that have listened to my podcast know this about me, is that I went through the caretaking of my wife until she passed away in 2023. And so that was just, you talk about losing yourself in just a helping role, and then trying to maintain a practice, and then being on for people all the time, I think is something that we have to pay attention to. And like I think you said, I don't know if you said this after we started recording or not, but just giving yourself permission. I just need to fall apart here. I just need to, yeah.
Because it's unsustainable otherwise. It is unsustainable. Right. One thing I didn't mention, when I was going through my breast cancer, my husband's been battling brain cancer. So we had two.
Oh, wow.
Two of us going through cancer.
Yeah.
And that caretaking piece that you mentioned, it's all consuming. It's all consuming. And to find a piece of you that's able to show up for your clients. I mean, it's just, we're human. There's only so much of us.
Right.
And to give ourselves more permission to fall apart. Because as you said, I keep myself in therapy. I think I heard you say you keep yourself in therapy.
Oh, absolutely.
Therapists must keep ourselves in therapy. So we have a place to fall apart.
Right.
We also need to allow ourselves to be vulnerable and fall apart in other places, just in our therapist office.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's, you said something earlier that just, I think it really resonates. I think for a lot of us is that we consider ourselves the experts, using air quotes here. We think that if we can't handle things, or we don't handle things well, then that somehow or another negates the fact that we're an expert, or that we don't know, or, we're a failure as a therapist because we can't manage our own stuff. And that's such a myth, such a misnomer, and such BS. It's just,
a complete misnomer. In fact, and as I said, I tend to be a therapist for other therapists. And if I have someone sit in front of me and go, I'm fine, no, everything's fine. That's where my antenna goes up. I'm like, we
Right.
got to be honest first with ourselves,
Hmm.
before we can
Yeah.
embrace all these things. Because think what we ask of our clients in our private practice
Right.
and
Right.
how it feels to sit and just let all that emotional rawness come out.
Hmm. Hmm.
We've got to do that for ourselves.
Yes, yes. So, one of the things I know that you have done some stuff with, Julie, is also helping people kind of get back in touch with kind of the body connection and
Yeah.
knowing what we feel. You know,
Yes.
it's kind of a joke, but we usually think of men being ones that can't really get in touch with their feelings. It's just kind of that stereotypical thing, well, what are you feeling? Well, I'm not hungry, I'm not cold, I'm not hot. So I don't, yeah. So what, yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So tell us about how you work with people around that of getting in touch with that part of
I love that
themselves.
question. Because, and that it's very somatic. I do a lot of body scans. As I mentioned, I'm also a yoga instructor, so I bring
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not woo-woo. It's all scientifically backed. Chakras are real.
Hmm.
We're energy beings, right?
Hmm.
But I start every session with a full body scan. I want my client to sit quietly. Now, it takes them a hot minute to get used to that. Like, oh, Jules is going to make me do this body scan.
Hmm.
But we start at the crown, from the crown to your eyes to your throat, where we are bottlenecked. We have so many emotions in our throat. I cannot tell you how many times people start crying when they just think about that throat chakra.
Hmm.
That, and I'm not necessarily saying throat chakra in my mind's eye. I know what I'm measuring.
Right.
Then I have them think about their chest to their upper belly, lower belly, from their sits bones all the way down to their tippy toes, which I've taken them through the seven chakras. If you're a yoga
Hmm.
person, but even if not, those
Hmm.
are energy centers. And that is my effort to start training people to get embodied. And that's their homework assignment. When you're feeling something, and how many times have you been told this? Oh, it's all in my head. No, I mean, we're floating heads of confidence, yes, but our
Hmm.
feelings tend to happen in our body. Our thoughts happen in our
Right.
heads. So really, when someone in session has a big emotion, we'll stop and I'll go, okay, now where are you feeling that in your body? And Gordon, it's so foreign to so many people. They can't
Oh,
even
yeah.
fathom that they can feel things in their body.
Right. I know that's something I still struggle with. I mean, even in my own therapy, because yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just, well, you're feeling this feeling. So where in your body are you feeling that? I thought, I'm not really sure a lot of times. Yeah.
Absolutely. That is fair because
Hmm.
we have not been
Hmm.
trained. That is,
Hmm.
I mean, it's, I think it said algebra. We should have where's your, where your feelings in your
Right.
body.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I would use that. But
Right.
not all the love to math teachers, but we have been trained from childhood where our parents weren't comfortable with our emotions, so we were taught. Now I was born in 63. I know it's different. It's a different
Hmm.
thing from how my
Hmm.
grandchildren are being raised, but those of
Right.
us that are baby boomers, we were not. Daddy would tell me, "You don't feel that. You're fine. I'll give you something to cry about."
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
We were not trained to get into our body and go, okay, were you feeling that? It's okay to have that emotion. So
Hmm.
it's very foreign to go in and really identify those emotions. But I tell you, once we get in touch with that, it's very empowering. I'm because someone can say, well, I'm feeling sad. Oh, or I can think of some clients that have some somatic things going on where their tummy might hurt and they're able to stop and go, now, wait a minute, that's my abandonment issue kicking in my
Hmm.
tummy. So let
Hmm.
me see what I can do to take care of that for myself. It's very
Right.
powerful to get in tune with that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's like you said, it takes work to do
Oh, it
that
takes
and to learn how to do that. It's a skill. It's really a skill set, I think.
You're absolutely right. And we're building new neural pathways, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's a new book out. I forget, I want to give her, it's a lady doctor, but it's called 67 Days to Rewire Your Brain. She's done research on this.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. We used to think
Mm-hmm.
21 days or we would pull out just some,
Mm-hmm.
it'll take this long to change that habit. She actually has research that shows in 67 days, the new neural pathway is built, and those old neural pathways, she's done imaging on the brain, go away. Isn't that amazing?
Interesting. Yeah,
So,
it really
so,
is.
so 67 days to learn how to feel in your body.
Right. Yeah.
Who here loves when their nails are done perfectly? Me. I'm Sarah Gibson Tuttle, and I started Olive in June because let's be real, we all deserve to have gorgeous nails, but who wants to spend a fortune or half their day at the nail salon? That's why I created the Gel Mani system, so you can have that salon-quality gel manicure right at home. And guess what? The best part, each mani only costs $2. Yep, you heard me, $2. No more $60, $70, $80 salon trips that eat up your day. Now you can paint your nails whenever you want, wherever you want, and trust me, you're going to be obsessed with your nails, and everyone is going to ask you where you got them done. And here's a little something extra. Head over to oliveinjune.com and get 20% off your first Gel Mani system with code GELMANI20. That's code GELMANI20 for 20% off your first Mani system at oliveinjune.com/GELMANI20.
Shipping, billing, admin, payroll, marketing. You're managing all the things. So why waste time sending important documents the old-fashioned way? Mail and ship when you want, how you want with Stamps.com. Print postage on demand 24/7 and schedule pickups from your office or home. Save up to 90% with automated rate shopping. That's why over 1 million small businesses trust Stamps.com. Go to Stamps.com and use code PODCAST to try Stamps.com risk-free for 60 days.
So as you think about burnout, what are the other places where we, besides getting in touch with our body and our feelings, what are the other ways in which we maybe can help ourselves more with that?
Sure. Well, and these are very classical, own your calendar, own your worth. I work a lot with my students on this, being afraid to charge the amount they need to live. We've got to be able to do that because it's an insult to our complete profession if we're not charging our worth. And I know that can be quite controversial because some folks, well, I'm here to help. How can I charge? But at the end of the day, we got to feed ourselves. We got to have a living wage.
Right.
And owning your calendar. I work whatever it might be, pretend 8 to 5. And I don't answer the phone before 5. I don't answer the phone after 5. I take my lunch, right? I don't eat at my desk. I go take a lunch, go outside, get some vitamin D, get myself grounded. Because as you said, many of us are helpers. We want to help. So we give up our lunch, we give up our mornings, we give up our evenings, and we end up resenting our job.
Yes.
We're not holding our boundaries. So I think the essence of that, Gordon, is boundaries. I mean, that's
right.
Personal, professional. No is a complete sentence. Not being, so often we feel obligated, or we do this pretty little dance around a no. People are not going to like that no any better if you're
right. Well, it's really a total, it's a mindset change. And I was doing some consulting with someone the other day, and they were, the whole issue around not charging enough, we've been fed this line. I don't know if it comes from our training programs or whatever, but that if, you're not helping if you charge too much, or you're not helping if you charge it all or whatever, it's I'm all for philanthropic work and charity and all of that sort of thing and helping people in that way. But when it comes to your business, your practice and what you do, you have to charge, because if you're not making, like you said, not making a living wage, not paying what you're worth, you're not going to be there to help.
No, you're burned out or so angry about the whole profession. And we need to, sometimes I think people just kind of throw spaghetti at the wall and go, oh, I'll charge that. We need to know what our overhead is. We need to know what we need to be bringing. It needs to be a scientific.
Right.
That's set, not just, well, everyone else is charging that.
Right.
Oh.
So this, I just thought of something, this, I think, kind of an interesting way of thinking or whatever. On one hand, we're saying, get in touch with your feelings. Yeah, and be aware of what you're feeling and what you're in your body and that sort of thing. But then there's this line, this boundary we need to create of, okay, you need to know your numbers. You need to think about this and not make a decision based on what you feel. And so you want to say more about that?
Well, our whole profession is a very interesting blend of science and art. That's
Mm-hmm.
what makes us good therapists. We know our
Mm-hmm.
theories, we conceptualize through those theories, we back it up. But then there's this instinct, that comes
Mm-hmm.
in, and this presence, and so that's the same. I mean, our profession is a very interesting blend of science and art, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what you have to do to take care of yourself
Right.
as well.
Uh-huh.
And I think, I mean, because the science part of setting those fees, otherwise you cannot guarantee that you're making what you need to bring
Mm-hmm.
home. And we have
Mm-hmm.
no one but that lady or man in the mirror to blame for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you have to get right with yourself on that and move past the feel. I mean, there's a time to feel, and there's a time to be a business person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that very
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and I think it's being able to learn. Again, like you said, I think earlier, I've learned a lot the hard way,
Oh, girl.
and
Oh,
and a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times, if you make too many decisions based on, well, this feels right or whatever, and there's not any data or no, as I like to say all the time, you got to know your numbers. You you will it will spiral out of control. But because I've been there, done that, bought the T-shirt, and so yeah,
yeah. I've got a couple of them, sadly. A couple of those t-shirts.
right, right,
And you said something a moment ago that triggered something, but it's floated by. It may come back, but we do our clients a disservice if clients need boundaries. We know this. They need boundaries.
hmm
They need to know a session is going to start and end on time. They need to know that we wouldn't negotiate with our medical doctor on a fee. I
mm-mm,
mean,
mm-mm.
that we don't need to be negotiating that either. And if there's this philanthropic piece you want to do, well, then take on one client as a sliding scale. But if your whole
Mhm.
business is that, you're not going to be able to buy your kids Christmas, or
Right,
really be able to enjoy what you're doing.
no, right,
Um, money. I
right,
mean, sadly, we have to have money to live.
right, right.
And another really important piece about burnout, it's your nervous system regulation. All the polyvagal theories,
hmm
theory. It's important that we keep our nervous system regulated,
Right.
because when we don't, that's certainly going to kick us into burnout too. I used to just think it was just, we got to have the boundaries, and we need to, I don't know, take a bubble bath or whatever, which those are
hmm
good, but we've really got to be regulating our nervous system in
hmm
order to show up and be the therapist we need to be for our clients and have a
Right.
quality of life for
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah. And if you've got financial stress, that is one of the biggest stressors of
It's
anybody's life. And so yeah, and so you talk about burnout, you will be burned out and you will resent what you do.
crispy,
hmm
crispy fried. In my book, I go deep into the money story, because our money story follows us into life. And so often
Right.
we have not taken the time to understand why we feel what we feel. And it start we're encoding, we're watching our parents or our
hmm
caretakers. Uh,
Right.
yeah, and it's really important to know how that money story is impacting your
Right.
career.
Oh yeah.
And Lord help us if you're in that money crunch. That's a horrible place to be.
Right, right. Yeah. So, Julie, I know I've got to be respectful of your time and just thinking about, I know we could have this conversation all day long because I think it's just important stuff. Tell folks a little more about your book and also how they can get in touch with you and the different ways in which you are out there in the world.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gordon. I have a book on Amazon right now. It's called In Pursuit of Soul Joy, a 12-week guide for overcoming burnout and compassion fatigue. It's
hmm
specifically for us helpers.
hmm
And I'm on Instagram at Dr. Period Julie Merriman. And Facebook and YouTube, and I just got on TikTok because I wanted to see what all that was about.
Okay. Okay. Well,
And I'm on
great.
LinkedIn, but it's
Yeah.
all under Julie Merriman.
Right. Yeah. And we'll have links in the show notes and the show summary. I'm looking forward to watching some of your videos on YouTube. And
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, and for folks that don't know, this podcast is also on YouTube. And so if you prefer to see the faces and that kind of thing, if you're just listening to it, that's available now for folks. So, but yeah.
How fun. That's great.
Yeah. Right. Well, Julie, again, thanks for being on the podcast. And again, like I said, find her stuff in the show notes and show summary here, and hope to have another conversation here soon.
Yes, I'm so honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, big thanks to Julie for joining me on the podcast. She really was a delight to have a conversation with. And be sure and check out her book, In Pursuit of Soul Joy, a 12-week guide for overcoming burnout and compassion fatigue. And we'll have links, of course, here in the show notes and show summary for you to get to that easily. But also check out her YouTube channel. It is it's at Dr. Julie Merriman on YouTube. And then her website is juliemerrimanphd.com. And so, again, we'll have links here in the show notes and the show summary so you can find that easily. But hope it gave you a lot to think about in terms of doing some better self-care and really just thinking about how we take care of ourselves. Because as we mentioned in the episode, I think a lot of times we don't do a good job of that as mental health providers. But be sure and check out all those things. And also, love for you to go over and check out TherapyNotes. They are the leading electronic health record system for mental health providers, or who I use in my practice, and absolutely love that platform. And we continue to just be totally impressed with all the things that they're adding and ways in which they constantly improve the platform. One big feature that we love in my practice is the addition of Therapy Fuel, which is an AI-generated note creator that uses your information and what you do in your session to create really top-notch clinical notes. So be sure and check it out, practiceoftherapy.com/therapynotes. And also, if you will use that promo code, just Gordon, Gordon, you can try them out for 2 months for free. So be sure and check it out. Well, folks, we're looking forward to some more episodes ahead. I think we're going to have a great year this year with the podcast, and stay tuned and be sure to subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you might be listening to it. Take care. You have been listening to the Practice of Therapy podcast with Gordon Brewer, part of the Psychcraft network of podcasts. Please visit us at practiceoftherapy.com for more information, resources, and tools to help you in starting, building, and growing your private practice. And if you haven't done so already, please sign up to receive the free Private Practice Startup Guide at practiceoftherapy.com. And to find more great podcasts like this one, please visit the Psychcraft Network at psychcraftnetwork.com. The information in this podcast is intended to be accurate and authoritative concerning the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, or producers are rendering legal, accounting, or clinical advice. And if you need help in these areas, be sure to find the right professional to help you with these things.
Looking for a tasty way to get more protein in your busy routine? Cheerios Protein Cereal is your go-to for breakfast, a quick snack, or a post-gym refuel. Try cinnamon, cookies and cream, or strawberry, each with 8 grams of protein and classic Cheerios Crunch. Pour on 3/4 cup of milk for 14 grams of protein. More than an egg. Cheerios Protein keeps you going. Disclaimer, Cheerios Protein Cereal is a good source of protein per serving.